Hey, John Disler here, johndisler.com. I'll be going over the second section here in the website that we're doing with HTML and CSS. Here's the original FedEx website. I was making this section here with using the Bootstrap grid. So getting started, I have a very good extension for Google Chrome, which is this one here, Bootstrap Grid Overlay. You can get it on the Google Chrome store, which will get me my grid right here, the 12 column grid for Bootstrap. So right now, let me hide this here. We'll get started by going into the HTML. I'll be going over and making the wrappers and the containers for this section. So the first thing I'll do is I'll make a kind of a wrapper called enroll section. Next, I'm going to be adding the container class. Container is it comes from Bootstrap. The container class it gives you a really nice container where you can keep your kind of like your section, the width of the section in the middle of the page, so it makes it look very professional. And it's done automatically for you, so it keeps all the content in between the grid. I'll show you here. I'm going to add the enroll section, which inside of it is the container. And to the container, I'll do a border of 1 pixel, solid red. And right here, you'll see that very, very small. As I start adding content, you'll see more of it, but you can see that it's keeping in line with the grid, the 12 column grid. All right, so moving on, after the container, what I'm going to do after the container is going to be starting the grid, starting the row. So we have a class of row. Also, inside of the class row I'm going to start putting my content. So from the original website, we have some text that I'm going to put in an H3 tag for title. It says finish signing up to save. And then also there's another paragraph that says complete your probably should have copied that, but there we go. So we have that right there. So I also need to add something more to this that I did forget to add this, and so that's going to be the column. I have to let Bootstrap Grid know what column, what size I want this column to be. So the classes column, I'll be using large and the number 6, and you'll see here how this will make the section look. It kind of because it's a 12 grid column, it breaks it in half. So we have the 6 and the 6 here, the other half, which is where I'll be adding. Let me show you the image. So we have the two halves, this half and that half. All right, moving on to the next section. It's going to be, I'm actually going to just copy this right here. And it adds the second column. So the cool thing about Bootstrap Grid is, as you resize this, it's already pretty responsive. So that's the really cool thing about it. And I don't have to be doing all these different types of things. Float this left, float it right. It's very, very quick. So now if you have a very easy section like this, it's very quick for you. So moving on, I also need to add a button down here. I'm going to give this button an ID. So we'll do button, and the ID for the button, let's see, we can do an ID of enroll BTN. And this button is going to say start saving. Okay, so now we have the nice HTML button so far. We'll be styling it with CSS, of course. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to be adding an image. Take that out. We're going to be doing an image. The image that I have is also from FedEx, but from a older version of the front page. I'll go ahead and add it right here. I already have the link ready, so I'm just going to be copying and pasting the link right there. Oh, needs to go right here. For some reason. Okay. So we need the... Alright, so I have the image there. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Alright, I also need to... There's something missing here because it's giving me the full width. What I'm going to do is I'm going to resize the image. So to resize the image, I'll go ahead and try to grab from the original, which is going to be about, let's say 410, say 415 by 260. I'm going over here into the container. I'll do the image, which is the width 415 pixels by, let's do the height. I believe that was 215. Let's see if that did much to it. Oh, that is the wrong measurements. Going back to get the measurement. So about 260. 260 for that. That will resize it right away. Now the image looks good. And the next thing we need to do, make sure we're staying in this grid here. Very good. Next thing I'm going to do here for the grid is I'm going to be adding also on the Bootstrap, I'm sorry, on the CSS, I'm going to be adding some more styles for the CSS. So one of the things I'm going to do, I want to create a border for the section as well. So I'll do it here just to see sort of where I am. Solid green for that. All right, so that added a green to the entire section. So next thing I'll do, I just want to keep track of that. So next thing I'll do, over here in the enroll, I'm going to make a class of enroll row, which is going to go right here. Save that, and in the enroll row, which is inside our container, I'm going to be adding a little bit of padding of 65 pixels and 0 left to right. That just gives me that little room that the original has there. Gives me that little room. Right, so then also what I need to do is I'll need to go into the column. So I'm going to add a column class here for these two. These are going to have a column and also a column. So for these, what I want to do for these is I want to give this a little bit of padding to make it look a lot more similar. So I'll be adding a column here. So I'm going to be staying inside the enrolled row. Be adding a column, which that image down there can also go in there. So for this column, I'm just going to be using, let's see here, a padding of 0 top and bottom, 100 pixels, 0 left and right, and 0 left, 0 and 0 for top and bottom, 100 left, and 20 pixels to the right. All right, so that gave it a very nice spacing there, a little bit more similar to that. Okay. All right, so also we still need to add a little bit more, fix a little bit more of the spacing. So for that, I'm first going to go into the H3 that we have here. This is the H3. For the H3, H3 is going to have also some padding of 35 pixels, 0 left, zero right, and 30 pixels bottom, and then 0 left. Okay, I gave it a little bit more spacing here because these two are not on the same height. Next thing I'm gonna go into the paragraph. So for the paragraph, font size. So let's check out the font size of the paragraph in the original. I have my nice extension here. Going in here, clicking on this one, and it'll show us that the font size is 18 pixels. So for the font size, 18 pixels. Going back, and it increased our text. All right, next thing is going to be we already got the image, so what I'm going to go ahead and is move up the image. I can keep it in there, and also go ahead and work on the button, on this button right here. So for the enroll button, which is still keeping it inside, let's see here, enroll BTN. We'll keep it inside of the enroll row. So we have enroll BTN. This enroll BTN is going to have a border radius of 50 pixels to make it sort of round. It's also going to have a width of 190 pixels. I got these from the original website, and a height of 60 pixels. Also, the border, I'm just going to make it blue for now. 2 pixels solid blue. And then also I need to do the color of the text blue. That should style out the enroll button, but it did not because it's an ID. Make it an ID. And there's the enroll button, a little bit circular there as the original. Okay, now there's something that I have to check here still, which is going to be making sure that we have the right spacing for this. So resize it. Sort of maintaining. I don't have any media queries yet, but it's sort of maintaining its dimensions, I guess, from the Bootstrap grid. So that's sort of a very, very quick way to use the Bootstrap grid to make things go to the left and to the right. The main thing about the Bootstrap grid is using the columns. Sorry, the the column large 6. Make sure you put it in a row. I have a misspell here. And then making sure we use the column. Also, you can do column medium. Let's say you want to do 12. Also do it here. Column medium 12. If I save that, it's going to resize them like this. But if I do column medium 6, as you can see, it brought it back to how it was before. Let me get rid of this border here. Brought it right back to how it was before. So whether I have it on large or medium, it's going to keep it the same. You can also do for the small, which Bootstrap grid is right here. So you can go to Bootstrap and check out the documentation on that. Column small, column mid, column large, column extra large. So extra small is just .col. So you can resize things and make things look nicer. For if you're gonna have, like for example, medium and large view, you can keep it like that. There's not a problem with that. But then you start getting into the smaller ones. You want to make it you want to make it a 12, so that it'll take effect on the whole grid, the 12 grid. So it'll be just a line. Like for example, if I make the large here 12, it's taking up the entire grid. If I go back to 6, taking up half. So that's all. This also can be kind of made better. The spacing make look exactly like the original, but it's just a very quick intro into Bootstrap Grid. Thank you for watching.